Welcome everyone. Once again, my name is Sandra Vidrio and I'm part of the team at the Fresno Area Hispanic Foundation. Thank you once again for joining us this morning. We have the pleasure of having one of our newest community leaders here in Fresno, our Chief of Police, Balderrama, join us, and we are excited to meet him virtually, learn more about the activities and projects that are planned here for the city of Fresno. And after the presentation, we will be having a Q&A, and we will also be joined later on by two of our FHF team members. So with that, I'd like to go ahead and get started really quickly. If it's your first time using the Zoom platform, we want to encourage you to submit your questions using the chat box feature. So if you are using a computer, you simply look in your tools at the bottom of your screen and you can find the chat box. And if you are using a tablet or your cell phone, you simply select the option where it says more, and then you will select chat right here. And if you are joining in wanting to listen in Spanish, tenemos a interpretación de parte del equipo de lingüística team. Así que simplemente seleccione donde diga más y después interpretación del lenguaje y asegúrese de seleccionar donde dice español. So I just quickly share that we do have today's presentation being simultaneously interpreted into Spanish. So with that, I want to go ahead and welcome our CEO, Dora, for welcome remarks. Hi, Dora. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much, Sandra. And on behalf of the Fresno Area Hispanic Foundation Board of Directors, my team, and our chair, I'd like to welcome all of you to our breakfast meeting and future breakfast meeting, now our webinars. But I'm so excited to have this morning our Chief of Police, Paco Balderrama. It's such an honor. I'm looking forward to working with you and of course all our family here at the foundation. We're looking forward to working with you, helping you out and becoming part of your family here in Fresno now. So welcome from Oklahoma, right? So we're so excited to have you. You're such a key component in our community, and safety is key to our families, to our community, to our business owners. So welcome on behalf of my board and our team. Now, it's such a beautiful day here in Fresno. So we'd like to thank the good Lord for that. And for that, we have our morning prayer. And I'd like to welcome Elaine State. She's one of our business owners, Eco Water Systems. So please, Elaine.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, I'm going to start out with a Bible verse, and that's Romans 13:1. And 13:1 says, "Let everyone be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except that which God has established. The authorities that exist have been established by God." And so we welcome Chief Balderrama, and we know that he is in an appointed position that is decided by our Lord. We pray for our country, and we pray for all of those in authority. We pray for our leaders to have wisdom and discernment and have this energy to do this difficult job that's before him. We ask, Lord, that he seeks your will when he's making decisions regarding this beautiful city of ours. And we ask that you healed our land from the chaos and division that we are currently experiencing. And we just ask that his decisions have a positive impact on our families, our cities, our churches, our laws, and our schools, and more. And we just thank him for being here. And we welcome him to our great city of Fresno. And with that, all God's children said, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Elaine. Thank you very much. Very nice words and very on point for Chief of Police. So with that, I know that Chief of Police has to go, so we want to get to the important part. And for that, we have our board member, Fausto Hinojosa, who will be introducing our Chief of Police. So please, Fausto.
Good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you this morning, and welcome Chief Balderrama. it's my honor here to just read a little bit of your bio, and certainly a lot of us have been following you in the news, and we're excited about the announcement. And so again, welcome here. Chief Balderrama is a 25-year veteran of American law enforcement. He began his career as an 18-year-old detention officer with the Oklahoma County Sheriffs one day after his high school graduation. So obviously he's a hard worker. In 1999, at the age of 22, he started the Oklahoma City Police Academy, where he served for 22 distinguished years, rising to the rank of deputy chief at the age of 42. On January 11th, as we know, he was sworn in as chief of police for the city of Fresno. He has held a number of assignments from patrol officer, field training officer, narcotics officer, SWAT team. So certainly a great amount of experience. He finished his career in Oklahoma City as the deputy chief overseeing special operations, which includes criminal intelligence, major violators, violent crime apprehension, Bricktown Entertainment District, Uniform Support Youth Services, Emergency Services. He also has a master's degree in criminal justice administration from the University of Central Oklahoma, and is a graduate of the FBI National Academy, which he attended in 2017. His involvement in the community has included multiple organizations in Oklahoma, and we certainly look forward to his involvement here in our community and to the improvements that we're going to see with his department. And as Dora shared, safety is critical to us. So with that, Chief Balderrama, thank you again for deciding to become a part of our family here in Fresno. And we do look forward to supporting you in every way that we can. So welcome, and please share with us.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here with you guys this morning. I've been very much looking forward to speaking with you. I know how important some of the partnerships are, especially with our business community. So thank you very much for hosting me today. It truly is my pleasure. So I just want to talk a little bit about my philosophy, and I'm going to go through it kind of fast because I really want you guys to be able to ask questions. But I really appreciated the prayer, the invocation this morning, because believe me, I had no plans of ever leaving Oklahoma. I was very happy in Oklahoma City with my current job as a deputy chief, but apparently God had different plans. So I'm here in Fresno for a very specific reason, and I don't know what that is exactly yet, but I know it's going to be a big challenge, and that's good. If you get too comfortable in your position, in your environment, then it's probably time to move. You should be comfortable. You should be challenged every day. So the two things I want to talk about is our community safety and community trust. Throughout my tenure here in Fresno, I'm going to focus on both of those things because they really encompass everything that I'm trying to do in Fresno. Community safety, obviously, we talk about building parks, and we talk about business, and we talk about doing all these great things, which are very, very positive for our community, but it has to start with safety. If the community members do not feel safe, simply going to the park or going to the mall or taking a walk or whatever else they want to do, then we have to do a better job because everybody should feel safe. Mothers shouldn't have to worry about their kids just going out for a night out to go get a burger without fearing them getting struck by a car, by street racing, or by a random bullet. So that's something that I'm really focusing on. And this is a big job. Obviously, it's a major city. Fresno, the 34th largest in the country, and the 5th largest in California. So there's a lot of issues here that are police related. But day one, my focus was to lower violent crime, which includes shootings and homicides. We saw a big uptick in 2020, and that's really correlates with what was happening in other cities in California. It wasn't just Fresno. A lot of large cities saw an uptick in shootings and homicides. So that's something that we're really working on right now. I can tell you, good news is that they've definitely leveled off. So when I got here, it was kind of going like this. The numbers were really, really sky high, and I had the city manager calling me in Oklahoma City. I remember one particular morning, I was actually at the dentist appointment with my kids, getting their teeth cleaned. And he's calling me saying, "Hey, what's your strategy on violent crime?" And I'm like, "Man, I'm not even there yet. I don't know what my budget is. I don't know what my resources are. I mean, I have a strategy, but I really need to get in there and talk to my folks so I can see where we're at. So day one was kind of a little bit of a circus, you know, getting sworn in, a lot of attention. I mean, it was kind of a big blur. And day two, I mean, I barely even met some of these folks that work for me, and we're having a strategy in violent crime. You know, typically your first 2 weeks should be visiting buildings and get to know people and shaking hands. And day two, where we're coming, basically I shut the door and I said, look, we're not getting out of here until we come up with a gang operation where we can lower this violent crime. But we did, and we have. And I believe that I'm building the trust that I need in order to accomplish the goals. So lower violent crime, you know, that's going to be done through intelligence-led policing. One of the things that I'm very much against is oversaturation of our Black and brown neighborhoods. We should resemble guardians and saviors of community, not an occupying force. So I did this in Oklahoma City, and I believe it's going to work here. And that's identifying the people, kind of the worst of the worst gang members, the worst criminals that are causing the worst crimes in our community. And typically, that's about 5-10% committing about 90% of the violent crimes. So we got to identify who those people are. We got to go in there. We got to get them. And I promise you, the people in that community, they want us to get them as well. They're for the police. They don't want to see less police officers. Actually, want to see more police officers. So intelligence-led policing is very important. One thing that I saw, probably the most glaring thing, is the number of police officers that we have. You know, currently, you know, on paper, I have about 829. But really, I have about 74 that are out through long-term absences, either COVID or some type of other injury, and then we're 60 people short. So, I mean, it doesn't take a mathematician to see that we're about 130 short, so I got 700 police officers. That's not okay for a city this size. Tulsa, Oklahoma, which is only 380,000 people and is much less violent than Fresno, has 800 police officers. Okay, Oklahoma City has 1,250. Oklahoma City only has about 100,000 more people than Fresno. So those numbers just simply don't add up. And it's very, very difficult to impact violent crime when I don't have the numbers. You know, I want to see the police officers proactively patrolling neighborhoods, making contact with people, going door to door. Hey man, what can I do for you? I'm, you know, Sergeant Balderrama or Lieutenant Balderrama or whoever, you know, and I work this community. What are your issues? How can we better serve you? That's where you develop relationships and you get the best information of who's doing what in the neighborhood. So, but a police officer can't do that. He's going from call to call to call to call, and then the customer satisfaction of our community goes down because they call the police for a simple report, and it takes us 2 hours to get there. Why? Because we're responding to all of the high priority calls. So that's something that I really want to change, and that's something that I'm not okay with. And until I get more numbers, I'm going to continue asking for a bigger budget so I can hire more police officers. You know, one thing that I found out later on after talking to dozens and dozens of people is that 2020 really created an attitude of reactivity. Okay, so because of all the defunding movements, because of COVID, you know, less contact with the public, so we won't transmit diseases, and the lack of funding, and the police officers were scared of doing their job. They really were. They were very passive, and obviously they were answering calls, but they were not doing anything proactive. So you know, I've spent a lot of time going to briefing after briefing after briefing, telling these police officers that, look, you have a police chief that's going to support you, that's going to back you up. Go out there, be proactive, do your job, find the people that are hurting other people, and be proactive about getting them off the streets. And I've asked them to do 3 things, and these are the 3 things that I'm really preaching. Number 1, be professional in everything that you do. Be a professional. You're a Fresno police officer. You got thousands of hours of training. Be a professional in everything you do. Follow policy. We have policies for a reason. Follow the policies that are laid out in order to help you do your job. And number 1, treat everybody with dignity. Everybody that you encounter, I don't care if it's a homeless person, I don't care if it's a gang member, I don't care whoever it is, and abuelita, you know, walking down the street, it doesn't matter. Treat everybody with dignity. And I told them, I promise you, if you do those 3 things and the situation still goes bad, I'm going to back you up. I'm going to stand there with you because you did the 3 things that I asked you to do, and most things should go okay. In police work, I mean, we're not baking cookies here. It's not an assembly line. Any situation can go terribly bad in a split second. So that's something I have to be cognizant of. So that's my concept on community safety, community trust. You know, I know that you've had Mayor Dyer here on your show, and he's laid out a lot of plans. One being One Fresno, and really promoting unity in our community, which I think is very, very important. But also a youth initiative, and that's something that the city is really taking on, and I'm glad they are, because in Oklahoma City, I ran our police community relations unit, which we don't have one here, by the way, but we will before I leave. Um, and one of the issues I had in Oklahoma City is that our police community relations were so strong, and our youth initiatives were so strong. The police did everything that they over depended on us. So everything was a police problem, even youth outreach. Here in Fresno, we're taking the strategy of it's a citywide issue. It's not just a police issue. Youth initiatives and creating opportunities for our kids, whether it's mentoring, education, job, it's a city problem. It's a city issue. It's not the police department. So I highly promote those, and I back those up because I've seen them work. School resource programs is a good example. There's a lot of people that want police officers out of the schools, and my question is why? A school resource officer is a big reason why I became a police officer in the first place. As a high school junior and senior, I had a great relationship with my SRO. He encouraged me to go, and apply to be in law enforcement. That's why I graduated on a Wednesday night, and on Thursday morning, I was starting my new job at the Oakland County Sheriff's Office. 18-year-old detention officer that didn't really know, anything, very naive, but very eager to learn. So I believe that school resource officers have two purposes. Number one, to keep the school safe. And number two, to build relationships with those kids. That's it. It is not a school to prison pipeline. It is not a competition to see how many kids you can throw in jail. That's not what it's about. It's about keeping that school safe. Because I promise you, if you pull those school resource officers out of the schools, the first school shooting that you have, mass shooting, everyone's going to be asking why. Why don't we have a police officer in that school that could keep those teachers and those kids safe? So that's something that I highly promote. Going back to community trust, transparency, and accountability. I don't know if you guys follow our social media pages, but I'm sure you've seen they've been a lot more active here lately. That's a culture that I brought from Oklahoma City. I was the public information officer for on and off for about 10 years. So, I kind of started the social media strategy in Oklahoma City, and it worked well for us. It worked very, very well for us because I can't put a police officer on every corner, but what I can do is I can put out information about what we're doing, what we're not doing, what happened, road closures, homicides, and this business that we're in is not always happy. So I tell my staff, I said, look, let's just be transparent, okay? For you Western fans, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We're going to put it all on there. If we mess up, you're going to see me first saying, look, this could have been handled better, and this is what we're doing about it. When we go out and when we do a partnership with a school or with some kids, we want to post that information too, because the community needs to see. They assume that we're not involved, when in reality we're extremely involved. So the community needs to see what the police department is doing in order to build that trust. So that's something that I'm very big on. Obviously, you guys have all heard about the 73 recommendations, and those are things that we're looking at to implement some of those. Some of those are going to be very difficult. I can be honest with you and say, for legal reasons, they're going to be difficult to implement, but some of them are actually low-hanging fruit. Some of the recommendations were things that I was planning on doing anyway, when I came to Fresno. So I'm very happy that those things were put in there. So, and I'm going to skip ahead a little bit just so you guys have time to ask questions. But I want to talk about citywide partnerships. So what I'm trying to do here in my first 6 months is really, that's why this meeting is key. I was so looking forward to this meeting because I have to build partnerships. The police department cannot do it alone. I'll admit to that, and we will fail if we try to do this by ourselves. But I have to figure out who those key players are in city government, county government, state government, and at the federal level, because they have resources that we don't have, and I can leverage those resources to do more. A lot of times those partnerships can be force multipliers in accomplishing our goals. So that's something that I really want to emphasize on. Our nonprofit community is also very important. Some of our nonprofits their mission is to do things that we're trying to do. And frankly, police officers sometimes are not the best individuals to deal with homelessness or with mental health issues, or even nonviolent domestics. I don't know a single police officer that's a marriage counselor, right? So maybe we should bring people in that really know how to do that job and allow them to help us to keep the community safe. And then lastly, but maybe most importantly, our business community, you guys. In Oklahoma City, we could not do anything as far as youth outreach without our business community. They would back us with donations, with venues, with support, with volunteers. And one of the things that I do want to get off the ground is the police community relations unit. And hopefully they'll let me use some of this Measure P money in order to, we want to build parks, great. We got to keep those parks safe, and we have to provide activities for youth at these parks. So what it's going to take the staff. So if I can get that done, then I'll have a full-time staff whose sole purpose is to engage with all these entities that I just discussed, and to build those partnerships, and to help us put on events year-round, not 1 or 2 a year, but weekly. What are we doing weekly with mentoring, with sports, the police athletic, what we call it, the police athletic league in Oklahoma City. It's the police activities league here in Fresno. But those are all great programs that have a track record of success. So we should keep on doing what's working. And the best plan, I've always said this, is the flexible one. If you have this on our gang operation, if we have this plan that is just so rigid that, look, we're going to do it this way, and that's the way we're going to do it, and we're going to do it for 6 months, and we'll see what the numbers are. Well, that's not a good plan. We have to be flexible. So flexibility is very, very important. So I'm open to new ideas. And you know what? If something's working, we're going to do it again. We're going to do more of it. If something isn't working, we try something new and it doesn't work, well, we're just not going to do it again. I mean, I think you learn in the process, and you improve things as you learn things. So that's basically, in a nutshell, kind of what my philosophy is moving forward. And some of that will change, and I know new things will be added. But I want to give this opportunity to any individuals who may have questions for me.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Chief. Sandra, if you could.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much for your presentation, just giving the opportunity for our business community to get to know you, know more about the goals that we have here for the safety of our community. So some of the questions here, and so a lot of positive comments, a lot of people, great to meet you. So one of the questions here is, what is the status of the Police Reform Implementation Committee?
We've had several meetings about this committee, and it's being formulated right now. So one good thing for me is that this is not a big lift for me, and it's not something I'm carrying by myself. It's actually City Hall that's helping us implement some of these recommendations. So we've actually broken all 73 of them down into, well, to simplify things, easy, medium, and hard. So I've identified myself about 20 recommendations that for me are low-hanging fruit, things that we can get accomplished in this first year. It's not bad. I mean, 20 recommendations out of 73 that we could possibly implement within the first year. That's a lot of progress. But there's others that are going to be more complicated and for legal reasons. But I know that City Hall and the mayor are putting together this committee. And I believe each council person is going to be able to select assign a person to this committee. And those individuals are going to work hand in hand with the police department to help with the implementation of some of these things. And we're also going to have an oversight board as well.
Thank you. Another question here is, we're seeing some positive movement from Mayor Dyer with regards to the homeless community. How will law enforcement be involved?
Well, we will be involved to a certain degree, but we're going to be kind of involved mainly for safety issues. So one of the things that we decided is that, number one, the homeless task force, I've never liked the name. Homeless task force, it sounds like, a bunch of, like a SWAT team going after homeless people. It just kind of, to me, it just sends a kind of a negative message. And all of us know that a lot of the issues with homelessness, well, they're simply not criminal. Some of them are, but some of them are not. I mean, it's not illegal to be down on your luck and not have a phone, not have a home. But what we do know is that many of these folks have mental health issues and have substance abuse issues. What we've also found out is that there's a lot of criminality within the homeless community. And that's something that is very, very concerning. I can tell you that we've identified homeless camps where gangs are exploiting and victimizing the people in those camps.
Welcome to Fresno. I know that you've been here for some time, and I have a mentor-mentee relationship with a young man in Oklahoma City. And I was texting him last night, and he said, we're going to miss the chief. So I guess that's a testament to all the wonderful things you did there. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm also speaking from perspective. My brother Jaime was a police officer with the city for more than 2 decades. So obviously I'm a big fan of all the work that your team does. But my question, it's actually a two-part question. One is, uh, do you have plans to continue the Police Chief Foundation? And if so, I'd love to know some of the issues that you would like to tackle with the foundation if you do plan to continue it. And the other is, as business leaders, you know, you've already, with fresh eyes, have had the chance to see a lot of the challenges and even opportunities in our community. What would you say are some of the areas that, as a business community, we can focus on most greatly to help you and your team as you're continuing to make change?
Great question. So yes, I am planning on continuing the Chiefs Foundation. I think that's a really good tool for us. In Oklahoma City, I was involved with several nonprofits, so I understand the nonprofit world and what the rules are. So the first thing I asked for were the bylaws. I said, look, this Chiefs Foundation thing kind of makes me nervous a little bit. You know, there's money that's being donated to the police department. So I actually have the bylaws right here. I just got them yesterday. I haven't read them yet. But from what I understand, you know, the Chiefs Foundation has a mission to just support the mission of the police department. And coincidentally, yesterday, I also had our budget meeting. And it is tough when you have a list of literally 93 things that we want to add to the budget. And some of those things are very worthy causes: training, gear, bulletproof vests, you know, training for our K9. I mean, things that need to happen, but yet I'm going to have to go through that budget list and red ink it and just decide as the chief what's most important. And that's something that is, number one, very difficult and very unfair, because all of those things are important, and we should fund all of those. So one of the drawbacks in Oklahoma City was that we didn't have a Chiefs Foundation. So we had several community members who said, look, we want to help you, we want to support you, and you know, we want to buy a new car for our homeless outreach team or whatever. That actually happened. And it took an act of Congress in Oklahoma City. You had to get it approved through the city council. It took a lot of motions, but with a nonprofit that is under the chief, we can buy anything that's police related. So there's a lot of people who are willing to help with money, and they want to support the police department, and that money can be used for anything. As a matter of fact, I just got a request about us supporting another nonprofit. Well, many of you nonprofits know that you can easily give, for one nonprofit to another nonprofit. So what's the problem with going ahead and, being part of their golf tournament in order to support them? No, there's no problem with that. We can do that, and then we can also show that support that the police department supports other nonprofits around the city. So that's very important for me to build those partnerships. So yes, I plan on continuing it. I got to read the bylaws first, but thank you for bringing that up, because we can do a lot with that money. I can do everything from buy a new K9 to send officers to training, to send a group of kids to Disneyland, on a mentoring program with police officers. And those are the types of things that I want to do with that money. Those things that are not budgeted, they can come out of that fund, but obviously it's not a bottomless well either. We have to promote it for what it is, but there is a strong board behind it. I'm actually meeting with them this week, and I do plan on continuing that. So Mr. Rios, can you repeat the second question? I was so focused on this one, I forgot what that was.
Here we go. Okay, maybe you can hear me now.
I can, yeah.
I think Sandra had to unmute me. But the second part was, as a business community, where do you need the most help? What can we do to help you today?
Well, boy, that's an interesting question, and I can honestly tell you that I'm still figuring that out, because there really are a lot of issues, but that's okay. I promise you, I didn't take this job because I thought it was going to be a walk in the park. I knew it was going to be a challenge, and I'm very comfortable in challenges. I think just overall support. There's a lot of misconceptions out there, and especially in Fresno and California, that our communities do not support the police. That couldn't be further from the truth. Our communities do support, highly, overwhelmingly support the police, especially in those neighborhoods that are affected by violent crime. So I think for now, just that support, that you stand behind the Fresno Police Department and our mission, and to just have that sense of trust that I'm going to hold my officers accountable, that we're going to have a high standard for professionalism, for treating people with dignity. And if somebody's not doing that, then I'm going to take care of that. So one of my favorite quotes that I read in a podcast, or listened to a podcast not too long ago, is that trust is given, distrust is earned. So that's something that I'm having to do with my entire staff, because I didn't know any of them, right? I got 4 deputy chiefs, and I, didn't know them very well, but I've been very impressed by the people in this community. And that's what I told them. I said, look, at this point in time, everybody gets the benefit of the doubt. Everybody gets a clean slate. I'm going to trust every one of you 100%, because I'm going to give that trust. So you guys will trust me that I'm going to do my job. And I guess I'm asking the same thing from you guys, is to just have that sense of trust that, as far as I'm concerned, me, what you see is what you get. I'm about as subtle as a punch in the face. I can't pretend to be anybody else. And that's one of the things that the people keep telling me, well, you're so genuine. I was like, look, I'm just being me. I don't know how to be genuine. I'm just myself. And if I say something, it's because I mean it. If I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And I'm very transparent in that way. But I can also tell you that the job has its challenges. If you just think about 2020 and 2021, one of the most difficult jobs is definitely being an American police chief. There's a lot of social problems that land on my desk, and I'm trying to filter through the ones that are police problems and the ones that somebody else should be handling, and I'm trying to build those partnerships so I can accomplish this mission. I can't do it. I'm just one person. I can't do it by myself, but certainly with the support of our state and local government, of our community, of our nonprofits, and of our business community, who tend to be the most supportive, most generous, quite honestly. I think we can get it done. And I do want to give a shout out to my friend, David Presadio, who I know from Oklahoma City, when he was with the Mexican consulate, and he and I, worked together on some projects. And, it's quite amazing, how small this world is, because from the contacts I made in Oklahoma City, not just, David, but other people in the community, they've been calling here, Fresno, saying, hey, you got to work with this new chief. He's this, he's that, he did this in Oklahoma City. So it's amazing how, that transcends 1,400 miles almost. So I'm very happy to be here. I can tell you that this much. I've never worked so hard in my life. I'll be honest with you. It's been some 12, 14, and maybe 1 or 2 16-hour days, but I've been having a blast. I mean, the people here are just so amazing. And it really kind of chokes me up to the people are so warm and so welcoming. And I actually tried to rent an Airbnb up in Shaver Lake. I hadn't gotten away for anything, so I went and spent the night out there. And when these people found out that I was trying to rent it, they wouldn't let me pay for it. And I'm like, look, please, I don't want, I got to pay for it, this and that. No, it's an honor, and they wouldn't take my money, but I cleaned the place up really good before I left, just so I can give something back. So I do feel very much supported, and I hope that continues, because again, I can't do it without you guys. But the people here are very, very impressive. I said this last night in an interview online, is that Fresno is a very, very cool place. And, Fresno is a scrappy little town, and it's kind of an underdog town. Is that I don't think the rest of California expects a whole lot from us, but I think I can't wait to see what this place looks like in 10 years with the initiatives that the mayor is pushing through, with partnerships throughout the community. I think people are going to be really wanting to come here and be part of this community, because we're going to make it that much better. It's great now, but I think we're going to make it that much better.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. You are a blessing to our community, and to have you here. It's just amazing to hear you and your optimism, and it is just a great thing for our city. So thank you so much for speaking with us today, and we're looking forward to helping out and supporting you. And anything that you need, please, we're gonna reach out to you and see. We're here. We're here to help out. So please let us know. ¿En habla español?
Claro que sí.
Ah.
Era mi primera pregunta, que si querían que hiciera esta entrevista en español o en inglés. Entonces, comunicando con la comunidad es muy, muy importante, porque obviamente cuando viene una persona que habla el idioma de ellos, es una conexión automática.
Muy bien, pues encantada de que hable español, porque la mayoría de nuestra comunidad se siente más cómodo hablando español aquí en nuestro Valle Central.
Y estoy a sus órdenes.
Gracias. Un placer.
Regarding what is your experience with trauma-informed care and trauma-informed training for police officers?
Oh, well, I actually help implement that back in Oklahoma City. So one of the things that I like to do, and I'm going to tilt my hand a little bit and tell you guys about a project that I don't think we're ready for yet, but I want to implement here, is that number one, trauma-informed training is very, very important, because our police officers need to understand that a lot of the community that we deal with has been traumatized in their lives. And some of the actions and legal activity that we see are a result of that trauma, that maybe it was a childhood trauma or whatever else. I'm sure you guys have heard of ACEs scores. And when I first learned about ACEs scores, it's basically it's a model that identifies trauma in a child that was never addressed, and which is a lot of times it's coming out in some type of inappropriate behavior. So that's something that we need to be very cognizant of. There is a program called Handle with Care that originated in West Virginia. And it talks about ACEs scores, but basically it's a super simple concept. Whenever a police officer, so police officers, obviously we can answer 911 calls, we respond to people's homes, we encounter children in trauma. So trauma can be mom is going to jail that night because of something they did. Trauma can be being in a very bad car accident where they witnessed something that was horrible. Trauma could be abuse, physical, sexual abuse. All those things are traumatic to a child. So when a police officer encounters a child with trauma, then we would partner with a local school system to send a message. That way there's follow-up treatment the following day. A very, very sad story that happened in Oklahoma City within the last year and a half is that these 5 kids witnessed their mother be stabbed to death by her, boyfriend in a hotel room. And horrible situation. My officers responded. They took care of the family. Guess what? The very next morning, those kids were in school, and nobody knew about the trauma that they suffered the night before, that they experienced. And the last thing we need is a teacher. Hey, if that little girl, that little boy are falling asleep, or they're acting out, or they're really tired, maybe it's not just them misbehaving. Maybe they've suffered something that is very important that needs to be addressed. So we started this program where if an officer identified children that were traumatized, they would send a message to the school system. The school system would then, now the message has to be very, very limited. It just says, little Tommy Ramirez, who goes to so-and-so elementary school, he's in the 5th grade, handle with care. That's all you say, is handle with care, because we can't divulge any information about that child. And then the school would know that there was trauma the night before. So they would reach out to that child, talk to that teacher, send a counselor so they can follow up with that child the next day. So we tried it in Oklahoma City. We got a great response. In West Virginia, in Charleston, West Virginia, where they did this, it's a smaller community and they only have 1 school district, but they saw the level of performance in their kids go straight up, because they were taking care of their children the very next day after a traumatizing experience. So I like to do that here. You guys are the first to know about that, by the way, because I've been told anybody. So don't go tell Mayor Dyer yet, because I'm going to need a little bit of funding for it, and I haven't asked him yet. But this is to me, it's a common sense program that really, what does it take? I sent one of those emails myself. It took me about 45 seconds to put it together and to send it. It doesn't, all it takes is time to identify that a child's been hurt and to know where to send an email about their information. So, I got to sit down with the school systems and talk to them about it. But that's something that I like to do here in the not so distant future.
Thank you. And the final question here that I see in the chat box is, were there any good example faith-based partnerships in Oklahoma that worked well, that solved small and large community challenges?
Yeah, we actually had a partnership with a lot of churches, and I forget the name of the program. It had a number, but basically these group of churches came to our youth outreach program and said, look, if there is any need that that kids may have, let us know and we'll meet it. So basically we would be mentoring some kids or doing a gang intervention, and we would see that these kids needed shoes, for example. Then we would go on this website and we'd say, look, we have a child, 2 kids that need some shoes, and then they would send it out to this network of churches, and then they even had an app for it. Somebody in the church would see, look, I want to meet that need, and that they would immediately just fund that, whatever it is that they needed, and then we would go and give whatever that, whether it was shoes or food or whatever else, to that family. So that's something that really was working. We were just getting off the ground. I know we have a strong coalition of churches here in Fresno, so I think something like that might work. I just got to create the infrastructure within the police department where we can receive something like that and then meet the need. I can tell you that a lot of officers do this kind of thing already, and I can remember working at a school myself, and then encountering a child who was being bullied because he had old shoes and they were ugly and they'd smell bad, and he was being bullied. Well, guess what? I talked to the principal and I said, hey, I'm going to take this little guy for about 30 minutes. I'll be right back. Took him to a shoe store. I remember I'm standing in line, and the lady at the shoe store looks at the shoes, looks at the kid, looks at me. I'm in uniform. She's like, he's not your kid, is he? I said, no, he's not. So then she gives me like a discount for the shoe. I was going to buy him anyway, but got him some shoes. And I can tell you that's kind of the norm. A lot of police officers do that when they see a need. How many more needs could we fill if we had a network of individuals, organizations, churches, whatever, that are helping us meet those needs? Because Fresno, there's a lot of needs, and a lot of times police officers are the best people because they're there where the need is on a daily basis. So that's something else that would be a great idea to do here in Fresno, that our police officers would feel honored to carry out, to go in and meet those needs using partnerships like this one.
Thank you so much. That is the final question in the chat box. Once again, we appreciate your time, and we look forward to what in the future, later in 2021 or 2022, bringing you back as a speaker for our Negociantes, and hopefully this time in person. So with that.
Great. No, I'd love that, especially if it's a breakfast meeting, because I love breakfast. So if we guys can do a breakfast thing, let's do it. But thank you for your support. It's a pleasure to speak with you guys today. Reach out anytime. You guys have my email. You guys have my cell phone, and I appreciate the support and the opportunity. Absolutely. Have a great day.
Thank you. And I would like to take this moment to say thank you to the following community sponsors for supporting our programs and being able to provide these webinars, as well as our small business services to our community. Thank you, Bank of America, Comcast, Bank of the West, Chevron, FHL Bank San Francisco, Donna G. Sales, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan Chase and Company, Tri-Counties Bank, and Union Bank. Thank you for your support. And I also want to share or welcome our new members here with our organization. We have our new member, City of Clovis. Thank you for your support. And we would also like to say thank you to Helping Others Pursue Excellence. Thank you to Hope, at the team at Hope, for renewing your membership. And with that, I would like to welcome our team member, Yeri Olivares, to share a little bit more about our programs and services.
Thank you, Sandra. Thank you so much for the introduction. I just wanted to briefly, I know we have a few minutes before we wrap up, and want to make sure that we are conscientious of everyone's time. And, today I just want to briefly talk to you a little bit about our City of Phi, which is a program, a certification that we recently received here at the beginning of the year. And I'm going to skip through a couple of slides just to make sure that, I get this information to you. The history of the City of Phi is that two Latinas, which you see there on the screen, Dora and myself, we saw the need to come together to form an entity that would better serve the financial needs of minority businesses and provide them with the full scope of service of technical assistance. And so with over 17 years of experience in servicing minority and underserved small businesses, we established this community development financial institution to be there for the businesses from start to finish, and then for the life of the business. And so if we move on to the next slide, I want to make sure that I inform you who we serve through our City of Phi. And we target minority-owned businesses in low-income, underserved communities. And that means we are serving startup businesses, young innovators, which we have a program called Youngpreneur that we will be servicing through our loan program, entrepreneurs with ITIN numbers, which I think is very important, especially within our community here, that we serve as entrepreneurs that are running their businesses with ITIN numbers, rural businesses, women entrepreneurs, businesses that have been impacted by COVID and are also looking to reopen their business, those businesses that are needing assistance with their credit, whether it's rebuilding it or establishing it, And one of the special products that we have is for consumers, which is for personal loans. And of course, we target the San Joaquin Valley region with our loan program. And one of the things that we specialize in is going to the businesses. We know that the businesses are busy running the business. They're busy trying to make sure that they can reopen with all of the guidelines. And so we go to them, especially in the rural communities, because we know that they're not able to come to us. So we go to them, we accommodate their schedule, whether that means going to them on the weekends or going to them after hours. We really want to make sure that we're helping the businesses that need us the most. Next slide, Sandra, please. And so just to kind of give you a brief overview, I won't go over every single detail here, but our loans currently range from $2,500 to $75,000. And the three main products that we have are business loans, lines of credit, and consumer loans. So if you have any questions about our loan program, please get in contact with us so that we can give you more information. Next slide, please. We do have special loan programs, and I think that's one of the key components here that I would love to share with all of you so that you can share it with those that you think may benefit from our loan programs. We do have a Jumpstart loan program, which is up to $5,000, and that means that somebody that's just getting started, or potentially they may not be ready when it comes to the credit. So while we help them with the credit, we also help them with a $5,000 loan or less. We do have the consumer loan, which is up to $10,000 for personal use. We have an express loan up to $15,000. That's a shorter process that does not have to go to who we call our loan committee members. A Youngpreneur, which is a loan program for youth and young individuals that are currently looking to start a business with new innovative products. And our Womanpreneur program, which is to help as well target the Womanpreneur and the Latinapreneur program that we have, which is our 8 cohort series for women entrepreneurs to help them get started with their business. And of course, we have a special loan program within the city of Coalinga as well. And so one of the things that makes us very unique with our City of Phi is that we are an organization that provides full circle services. And what that means is that we don't only provide the lending, but we also provide the small business assistance. And that means that we're helping you, just like I mentioned, from the beginning of developing your business plan to getting your business launched, and then for the life of the business. So we help you fill out your application. We help you get all of your documentation, which means the personal financial statements, all of that financial stuff that sometimes we don't really know as business owners how to fill out. We help you with that along the process, and we do a lot of the hand holding so that we can help complete your loan package and get that submitted to you. And of course, additional services, free legal consultation with our really good partnership with UC Berkeley Community Business Law Clinic. If you need help with bookkeeping, merchant services, marketing, a website, especially right now, due to COVID, if you were not ready with having any social media presence, we can help you with that to make sure that we assist you. Next slide, Sandra, please. And of course, how to apply. We do have we need to start is the application and a credit report. You can find our website. On our website, you can find our application. You can call us over the phone, or you can also come in person, of course, following all of the safety guidelines. We do have Jessica, who's part of our team, who is our loan program manager. We have Blanc, who is our underwriter. And of course, the rest of the FAHF team that you see on here that's here to assist you with any of your small business needs. So please feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions, and we're looking forward to continue bringing you more resources to the small businesses.
Thank you, Yeti, for this wonderful presentation. We appreciate it. And I would now like to welcome team member, David Preciado. David, welcome.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Sandra. It's a pleasure to talk to you this morning. Thank you to you, Dora, for this opportunity to lead this wonderful project because represent a recognition of all what we do every day. I mean, all the small business. We have here that our state, California, represent in the world like the 5th economy. And this is for all of us, like the daily work very hard. But how many of you really know how to export or import? Many of you have relatives in any other country, but we wanted to import or to export services and products. But how many of us we know how to do it? So this is the whole idea, to guide you with all the information, different resources, tools to help you to open new markets. This project, the export or an import. So this project was born with the creation of the new commercial agreement that I was signing last year by the USMCA between Mexico, Canada, and United States, and replaced NAFTA. There is a new chapter, the 25, where small business are recognized as an important part of the entire chain of the foreign trade in the three countries. We have the mission with this project to being a benchmark for small business throughout the Central Valley that wants to reinforce their finance through international trade. We currently have strategic partners, private services providers, academic institutions, private and government agencies with whom we are working to make this project possible. This project has the objective, the goal of finding the shortest, the safest, and the cheapest way to export and import. When we talk about export and import, it's a process that needs planning and knowing the stages, the step by step, all the requirements and the standard to establish the best strategy to expand our markets. So the two programs that we are leading here at the Fresno Area Hispanic Foundation to serve all of you that have a small business, so you have an idea. The first one is, it calls Paisano, Importa, and Exporta. And the second one is technical and legal assistance for all the local small business to export and import. The first one, Paisano, Importa, and Exporta, seeks to give the opportunity to the small and micro business here in the Valley. We wanted to take the hand in all the stages to the Paisano entrepreneur who lives here in the United States and who has a family member or friend in Mexico who produce, plants, manufactures, or harvest something, helping the strategic links to relatives in Mexico to meet all the requirements, what their company over there needs, and all what the products needs to be ready to export. And likewise, convert the Paisano here an importer. Sometimes it could be impossible, but that is the theme that this program has in their goal. We currently have more than different export and import cases of Paisano entrepreneurs. Among others products, they are importing like honey, cosmetics, coconuts, cheese, auto part for cars, coffee. And the second program we are leading here, the Fresno Area Hispanic Foundation, is the technical and legal assistance for all of you that own a business, or maybe you have an idea or a dream to become an importer or exporter. We will provide you with all the businesses with all the needs and product that you want to bring from Mexico, legal custom advice in matters relating to customs law, free trade agreements, and legal opinions of operation and issues. And likewise, we will guide you with each step that is required to be able to carry out the export and import of your products. So how we will do this? I mean, how we're gonna make possible if you wanna become exporter, importer. So we have different services we call step-by-step program. We're gonna mention it. The first one step is to exporter the diagnosis. Here we can find out if we are really prepared to export and import. If we have the capacity, if we have the demand, we have website, we have flyer in English and Spanish, we provide the terms and credit for the partner, for our clients. And the second step, the target market selection, we will know about the duties. A lot of times we listen in the news, even when we are the owner of our business, but we need to have information, trade statistics. Also, I mean, if we need to have levels of packing specific, or also to understand the taste or the preference of the target market. So that is the second step. The third, financial analysis that we will guide you in these services. In this step is about to know about our financials, if we can partner with someone, if there is available credits, if there is some government support that we can help you to provide you. The fourth step in these services is the promotion strategies. Here we will find out if you have, all your products and services and different materials in English and Spanish. If you have web page, you have the price list, you have videos, you have social media. So how can you promote your products, your services? There is different fairs, different business rounds, tastings, and that's also that another project that we have here to bring you to any country, to know all the different markets, to do a special mission with all of you to visit different states and to guide you through all this international markets. The fifth step, the customer identification, is to know exactly what is the sales policies, the prices, what is the income terms, the international trade terms, and to carry out the international contract, to have everything in a specific contract, and to know how to protect your products, to protect your business. The sixth step is the export and import management, because sometimes for people it's hard to think that you're going to become exporter or importer, but it's how we are going to help you to really do it. So it's when you think in export and import, normally you can think, oh, the operation, the logistic, the traffic, we are going to do it, how much it's going to cost. So all that kind of negotiation, we're going to try to guide you and to contact you with the right persons so you can do it. So the last step, we're going to guide you in our services, is the monitoring. So with this one, you need, we won't give you only the information and leave you because you can get lost easily. We wanted to tell you that we're going to be every time that you need holding your hand can become exporter. So we are going to analyze the position in the market from that product in Mexico or here. So we are going to generate and reinforce strategic alliances. So that is the program that we are presenting to you, the export and import, for all those who maybe have a dream to import something or to export. You wanted to contact us directly. Here are our email and our telephone. So thank you, Sandra, and thank you, Dora.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, David. We appreciate taking the time to share a little bit more about the Export-Import project here at the Fresno Area Hispanic Foundation. And as you can see, we have, the technical assistance that we've been providing since day one. We now have our City of Phi program. We are continuing our webinars, our women entrepreneurship cohort that will be starting in the month of May. And we also have our import and export project. And speaking of webinars, next Wednesday, we're going to be having a Spanish webinar, and we will also do the English interpretation, and it's going to be providing updates regarding the PPP program and other SBA programs. I know the president had made some adjustments earlier this week, so we will be providing those updates. So feel free to visit our website to sign up for this webinar opportunity. And I also want to share that the state of California, this is the California Office of the Small Business Advocate. They are partnering with eBay, and they have announced a program called Launch Up and Running California. And through this program, up to 300 California small businesses will be selected to participate in the 6-week e-commerce training program. And the goal is, the program is designed to help business owners grow online. And as a reminder, interested businesses, they are able to apply. The application is currently opened, and it will be closing on March 11. And to review the program benefits, eligibility details, please visit ebay.com/California. And with that, that is our final closing remarks. Thank you everyone that joined us for the call. I want to remind you that this webinar has been recorded and all of our registered participants will be receiving a copy and it will be uploaded to our YouTube account. So follow us at Fresno AHF, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And for any questions, please call our team at 559-222-8705. Thank you. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.